Said, I don't know what I said to garner that one. In three, two, since she's taking a sip, I'm gonna say, "What up, y'all? Welcome back to another glorious episode of Black and Married." Um, as always, I like to introduce my better half first. Hey, Schmelk. I'm it's just me. Trying to get in them draws. Anyway, it's me. Hi, it's Miss Brown Bunny. I'm here. Well, of course I'm here. I live here. I live here with him. We live together. And I am Click My Dick. It's funny. I say that on so many different outlets. Like, I'm starting to believe that's my actual name. I mean, I could go to the government and get it changed. Why? I would never. I would never like. You want to call me Click? No. Click. No, honey. That's trauma. So I have an ex that changed his name, but not legally, and he would only answer when people called him his weird made up name. It was really crazy. Are you gonna say it on here or get to know offline? No. Yeah, it was really. But he would only answer to that. And he felt like people was it Big Daddy did? No, it wasn't. It was something so ridiculous. You know, people would disrespect like if they didn't, because it was his choice to be called that, and you need to respect his choice. The option he went with was so ridiculous, and I'm ashamed to say that I definitely called him that. For listen, because you were down. You were a down ass chick. No. And I respect you for that. You know what I mean? No. You were young and a little bit blinded. Absolutely not. It's all relationship growing pains, but you were a down ass chick. That's like me waking up one day and be like, call me Delilah. That's my new name. I'm with it. What up? No. What up, D? You gotta draw lines. Delilah. Delilah. Nah. I'll do it, baby. You want Delilah? I'll call you Delilah. Ladies, there's a thin line between being down and being stupid. Like, just don't do it. Damn, that's a topic for another episode. Being down and being stupid. Thin line between being down and being stupid. Remember that. Somebody type that in one of the comments. Send it to us. Being down and being stupid. Plenty of stupid days. We've been going for a minute, guys. Life has been happening. True. Taking part in other ventures. If you see me look in different directions, we have more than one camera going. And I definitely have our computer linked to our TV, so I may look up and just be like, man, I'm a sexy motherfucker on the big. Like, I can get used to this. Right? Stop. Snap on the brush. No. It's not. What are you doing? I'm making sure I look good. It started though, so this is stuff that you do beforehand. I did do it beforehand. Yeah. So I can't grow the Rick Ross beard. So what I've decided is that I'm going to maintain my little scruff. Try to keep it as neat as possible. You know what I mean? So I bought me a little brush. Okay. I do tend to walk around the house and randomly brush my face. He does. And I'm not going to feel judged otherwise. Today. What are we talking about, dear? Today, we are talking about one of a friend of mine, very soulful sister, my favorite bruja, and I don't know many, but I'll still give you that title. You know what a bruja is? It's a Hispanic witch. Yeah. Oh, well, you would know because you had a covenant back in the day. Or a convent. What is it? A coven? A convent. Everybody went through a Wiccan stage. And it was a thing. And what was your familiar? Did you have a cat? A coyote? I did a coyote. Hamster. A hamster was your Wiccan familiar. I've had several hamsters. I hope that child is all right. I'll just scream. Maybe it's your laughing friend. Maybe his laughter brought on the storm. Son. Anyways, a very good friend of mine. I will tag her on here. And Corabella. You know, I don't give out anybody's governments without their permission, but on Instagram, it's Ann Corabella. She sent me something a while ago that. That's just the storm outside. Oh, that's God saying, speak on it, son. Speak on it. She sent me a conversation that she came across where the question was, why
why can't we date like our grandparents? Why don't our relationships last like our grandparents do?
I have so many reasons.
Why don't our relationships last like our grandparents do? I titled this on my IG as "Why don't we last like our O.G.s?" You know what I mean?
You want to go back and forth with the reasons? Like,
yeah, I do, but okay. I want to get into mine first.
Okay, go ahead.
All right,
go ahead.
Because I know what you're ready to fire off on. So I want to get with. I kind of know what you're ready to fire off on. So I want to get into a couple of more nuanced things. So again, the topic of discussion is why don't our relationships last like our grandparents do, or anything to that? Like, why isn't that successful? Why isn't it as loving? Why aren't we as engaged like our grandparents? I would say number one for me, the courting is super.
Tell me more. What do you mean?
Courting is super different. So our grandparents, their parents, it's like the family unit was involved in the courting process.
Okay.
So, you meet each other at school, you meet each other out at the malt shop, the milkshake, the malt shop, the burger joint. I don't think, if I found out my grandmother got hollered at while walking by a corner, I might try to find dude and smack him.
But
like,
why
word.
Yeah, she's an attractive lady.
I don't. But she is on a level where ain't nobody going to my grandmother. Like, fuck out of here.
It wasn't necessarily your. It was like it was the corner. The
sweet lady.
Yeah, the quartet group.
If I found out somebody sang at my grandmother, I'm finding them and throwing hands.
Shooter.
Like,
Shooter.
And they follow her like the Chris Brown video. I'm sure there was an older reference. What movie did they do that in?
A Bronx Tale.
A Bronx Tale. But there was was that the Temptations movie? Then he was like, "Yo, follow me while I try to holler at this," and they was singing. Did you see that? You know what? I'm not even gonna ask that question because if I don't get the right answer,
I've seen.
So you would meet them at school, at the library, at the malt shop, and it'd be like, "Hey, how you doing? You looking good? I like your style. What's your number? You're so silly." You write it on. You have your textbook. Hold on, I actually got a book. She has a textbook. She's like,
so nobody's writing their number with their tongue all out their mouth like that.
Do I really have to show the picture that made me?
Anyway,
okay, cool. So yeah, that's her ripping the paper. Here you go. All right, call the phone, the house phone. You call the house phone. You ask to speak to the person you're trying to court. So boom, you already have an initiation with the parent or sibling. Somebody picked up the phone. If it's a parent, they're gonna be super nosy. Who are you? How do you know what you calling for? If it's a sibling close to the age, they're gonna be like, "Ooh, Lisa, a boy on the phone." And you rush to the phone like, mind your business. And then the parent overhears that, they let you have your combo, then they ask about the person. So what's the next step? Can we go on a date? You agree to the date. What does that person have to do for that date?
What do you mean?
Like, if the girl says yes, they go on a date.
I mean,
a date
to pick you up and come.
They need to pick you up.
See your parent.
Come to the door and be like, "Yo, I'm such a." You got to make sure you're presentable for, and let's assume 2-parent household. You got to look presentable for pops, like dead ass. Like, you can't come in looking any old way, whatever, what have you. So you meet them, firm grip, eye to eye, all that good stuff, and then you go out on a date. And if it's successful, now you establish contact with the family, with the parents. You actually start building.
Okay.
Not even if the let's not even hypothetically if the relationship lasts in the long run. You start building from jump. Even if you don't last, that's a friendship. That's now a community bond. Like, oh yeah, I know such and such. He is a nice. He dated my daughter for a while. Yeah. I don't know why it didn't work out, but I go for it.
Okay.
Today, like I would have to say again, I can count my serious relationships on one hand, like long term boyfriend girlfriend, one hand. Um, and you would agree, my relationship before my marriage, it was very long. I was very intertwined. So I can imagine with our grandparents, you know, family, you know, friends, distant cousins. You go through life events, birthdays. Oh, come to my cousin's birthday party, my parents' anniversary celebration. It's hard to move on and disconnect from that. It's hard to add anything to that. You're not gonna. Sure, you may like stick your thing in something else, but you're not gonna try and have a whole other relationship. Like do that process while you're still involved in this process. So I think that's one reason why um, their relationships lasted longer.
Their lives were more entangled.
More entangled.
Oh, that was an accident. So before that word got fucked up. No, that was definitely an accident. I'm using it every day.
That's definitely going to tie into your reason.
Every day, regular life. Before Jay
they were way more involved in each other's life.
Messed up a whole word.
Bigger connections. That's why their relationships lasted. You invested more. Even from the courting stage, you invested a lot of time and energy. And I know when I invest time and energy in something, I don't want to see it just flutter away.
I feel.
She feels that her phone isn't doing something she wants it to do. So she's going to sit there and mess with it. Because in their day, perks of being Kim, how you doing? Because in their day, when something was broken, they fixed it. And in today's society, people give up so easy. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I'm about to go.
I'm a horrible person for thinking about that. I'm about to
go all the way into that.
All right, cool.
Okay, hey Facebook. It won't let me turn my camera, so it's gonna look like we cut off a little bit. But
that's just fine. What's going on with yours? Just shite together.
Anyway, so this is why I personally feel they don't work out. There's too many options nowadays. Back in the day, well, I have a few reasons. Some of them are toxic reasons that I'm glad that we moved past as women in a generation, and other reasons are like I completely blame the social media age. I feel
like we gotta get those mics. Or even a mic right here that
you just want to buy things. So
that's gonna be my next point. Relationships don't last because we have Judgy McJudgersons nowadays.
Got you. So, what was I saying? Options. Back in the day, it was like you said.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep my brush out the camera.
Back in the day, you had to actually meet someone in person, get their number. It was a lot of effort. You had to go to their house. Like you had to actually travel there. Whether you had a car, you were taking public transportation. You had to put in all this effort. It wasn't easy. If the person didn't live close, you had to figure out a way to go see them.
Ooh, child.
It was basically after you do all of that.
3 trains and a bus.
Unless you had no job, that you
think so?
3 trains and a bus.
3 trains and a bus.
I mean, for anybody other than me.
You're right.
Thank you. Way too much for anybody other than me. You should not be taking
you were 2 trains. 2 trains and a bus.
You were not
Mm-hmm.
It was
2 trains.
If you chose to get the bus, you could have walked down to the Florida station. So you chose to do the bus. So I was basically 2 trains and a short walk.
2 short walks.
Either way, short walk. Short walk.
2 walks.
Short walk. And it was all worth it. I could have been a boat, an airplane, a spaceship, a steam shuttle,
helicopter to drop off.
Exactly.
Go. Come on.
cuddling, and it would have been all worth it. Anyway, so sorry. Jump. Okay. Yeah, so you had to do all of that. So unless you had no job, you did not have time to be picking all these options. Like, to be going to see all these girls and putting in all this effort. You barely had time to see the one girl that was near you. Like, you had to do a lot. Nowadays, you get in a relationship and you could get bored, and in 3 seconds you can go on a dating app, anything, IG, whatever, and there's like 90 billion options. It's so easy to just jump from one relationship to another and not put in the work or not stick around. So with our ancestors,
call my nana an ancestor.
Anyway, you hear this? But you know what I mean? Like with my grandmother, like it was like she's seeing my grandfather seeing her, and it was just like, well, we doing this because I don't feel like finding someone else. It's a lot of work. That's one thing. The social media age gives us way too much access.
I know Beth lives next to you. But I ain't trying to be caught. Like, come on, that's right next door. And it's interesting. You know, a lot of people say social media, easy access, a lot of options. But also, Cam, boy, I swear I got something for you, Cam. Don't play with me. Kasim is awake. Not only with social media having mad options, but even with the dating app, it's like it's not just yo, you can swipe left, swipe right, but it's like here's Tina, who is only 0.2 miles away from you. So now that solves what you were talking about, where it's just like, oh, I'm coming here. Why would I waste my time going across town? Because it is with this girl I met at the town social, the town dance. Yeah. Like, that's too much. I'm gonna see Mary on Tuesday, and I'm gonna go catch the bus to see Beth on Thursday.
Why do you think so many Why do you think so many relationships lately, because of the whole COVID nonsense, are either making or breaking? Because you don't have that many options at this point. I can't come see you. I literally can't, because we're supposed to be quarantined. So I'm not gonna go through all this effort. Who was I fucking before this happened? Yeah, I'm gonna just keep going with you until this ends.
But not only that, it's like, so now it shows you how many miles away, but the options. But actually, you like, yo, if you walked everywhere you went back in the day, cool. Maybe you had a bike as a teenager, so you biked everywhere. Okay, you can't put them on the bike. That's not sexy for a date, but whatever. You had a car. All right. Now, not only do I have train or bus, Uber, I could finish for the day. Right? Oh my god, I had such a lovely time with you. All right, girl. Text you when I get home. Yeah. Need that contact to LaQuisha house. So I'm 5 minutes away. All right. Oh, you got your Uber home? Yeah. I got my Uber home.
I'm telling you, social media and just technology in general has just made it crazy easy to open your options.
Sure did. Oh, I like that.
So people in relationships options. Now.
But this is the general symbol for open. That was the most polite shit.
You know what I mean? Okay. Now, the other reason I feel like we can't stay together, or we don't stay together, I'm not going to say can't, the way our grandparents,
words mean things. I like that.
Do, is an actual good reason now. So, good reason now, bad reason back in the day. Women did not have their own income. They did not have their own independence. They were not able to do the things men could do. They did not have their own money. Go back even further, like weren't able to vote. Like we weren't able to do a lot of shit. So you were literally dependent on your husband. So at the end of the day, it's like I could either leave him and in extreme cases be homeless. and he'll take my kids. Because back in the day, women had no rights to the kids.
True.
They had no rights to the kids, so it's just like, bitch, you can leave, but I'm gonna take your kids.
Because judges automatically assume, oh, the dude is the main breadwinner.
Exactly. I'm gonna take your kids. You ain't got no money. You're gonna have to just move back to your in with your parents if you have that option. If you don't, I guess you're gonna be homeless. So out of being trapped, a lot of women, like our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, like they would stay in relationships because they had no other choice, whether they were abusive mentally or physically, like they had to stay, which is horrible. So it was like, it's not that I really want to work this out. I have to stay here because I have nowhere else to go. And we nowadays it's just like, well, peace. I don't have to stay with you. Like you hit me, you doing all this stuff to me. I have my own money, and I'm gonna take the kids, and I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna piggyback off that. Like, so we have options. We don't have to stay in relationships that are just toxic and hurting us.
And more options, more knowledge, more support systems, more confidence built into you. Like social norms have switched up. So you guys are not blind to a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like your circle of friends, let's say you know the big three. Your circle of friends right now, let's say y'all was back in the 1920s. You was with me and you're just like, yo, I know he sleeps around all around town. He's at all the gym joints. They would talk to you like, well, you know, and it's perfect lead into my point. Men are gonna be men.
That's the way men are.
That's the way men are. Like,
a man is gonna be a man.
Is the lights on?
Yeah.
Aren't you guys about to move to a new house?
Doesn't he provide? As long as he's comes home, or as long as he provides for the kids and you have a roof over your head.
Oh my God, is he a good father?
Yeah, that's just what it is. I feel like I got that kind of advice from my grandmother at some point growing up. Like, a man's just it's just gonna be a man. And he just know that as long as he is taking care of you. I mean, these are the standards that they had. Their bar was low. It was like, pay for our livelihood, and I guess you could do what you want.
But now you're the same big three, your group of friends. There's been so much conversation amongst a whole bunch of people thanks to social media. There's a bigger conversation where it's like, you know, what is toxic behavior? What is toxic masculinity? What is compromise? What are our rights as women? Um, what should we demand in the workplace? All of this. Now there's a bigger community of we don't have to take this shit. So now your friends wouldn't be all on the same. Now you have different things. There still might be a friend that says, "Does he take care of you?" Cool. But in the same conversation, in the same room, the third friend gonna be like, "Don't put up with that shit." Now they're giving you stuff to think about. Now it's like you're really weighing options, as opposed to be like, "Yeah, you know, we all go through it, but let's put up with it." You know what I mean? What's the thing? It's something thinking. There's a word. Somebody knows the word for it. Something think. Group think. Crowd think. Something think. I can't.
But you got very passionate about that. That knowing that word. I hope it comes to you.
I hope it comes to me too.
You're very serious about knowing that word.
And I'm gonna shout it out in the middle of it.
Please.
I know I'm gonna shout it out in the middle of it. But yeah, that was alluding to my other point, why we don't last as long as our grandparents. You would tell me all the time about that. Men are gonna be.
That's what my grandmother used to tell me. Like, man,
that's why our relationships have changed today, because it's not accepted anymore. Men are gonna be men. No, we have standards. Everybody has standards now.
My grandmother, I forgot how old I was. When I got my parents? I can't remember, and I don't know why we was talking about it. It was like a mini little sex talk, which I'm like, Grandma, I really don't want to talk about this with you. Her straight up advice was,
I'm going through this right now.
So sometimes, April, men just go, ooh. But anyway, sometimes men are just, they're going to do what they need to do.
They're going to do what they
You know, if you want babies, you gotta lay there. And I'm like, Now, I think at this point I was already having sex. Clearly, I'm not going to tell her that. But I want to be like, Grandma, like, I feel like you're not enjoying whatever.
Nobody say anything about a sex doll. Is my audio not coming up clearly? No, you didn't hear correctly at all whatsoever.
We're talking about why the relationships nowadays don't last like the way our
grandparents
did. Our grandparents did. We already touched on the fact that women were more dependent on men, so they couldn't leave them. And we also touched on the fact that
courting is different.
There's
more effort. There was more effort back in the day. Where now it's just like, yo, slide up in the DM. You with it or not? No. All right, next
on
one.
to the next. I talked about too much accessibility, which I'm going into another thing right now. Like, I feel that another reason it has not lasted is because our day-to-day life is saturated with brand new sexual activity. So back in the day, it was no, but when you think about it, we have so much access to this stuff. Back in the day, it was like
new sexual act.
No, because all right, so think about it.
I'm ready.
So back in the day, it was you married your husband.
Yep.
You probably did a missionary. Maybe he ate you out because that was, not doing that.
Yo, sorry, this ain't gonna last long because it's hot. You probably see me wipe my face. I put my hair down and the temperature turned up. Well, go ahead.
Maybe he'll eat you out. He might not let you suck his dick because he sees that as something hoes do. It was like, you're my wife. Lay here. We're gonna procreate. And
I'm glad I live in the time I live in.
That is what it is. So nowadays, we have all this porn, constant access to porn, and you see all these new images. You're seeing like foursomes, threesomes, anal, gangbangs, S&M. Some S&M is pretty dope. Not that 50 Shades though. That's anyway.
All right, guys, we're signing off. Thank you, guys. We're gonna
shut up. Anyway, get into it. You're seeing all of this, and if you were with somebody who's not sexually adventurous, back in the day, you didn't know that. You just knew you was still fucking, and it still felt good. Now it's just like, I'm fucking and it feels good, but can I stick it in your ass? No. Okay. That's fine. Can we try this position? No. Okay. That's fine. But you're seeing all this stuff in porn. It's just like, yo, I want to try it. I want to try it once.
And then you get on IG or Twitter and you're just flipping through
these IG models. And you're just like, oh, stick it in my
ass. Yeah. You're just like,
oh, hold on.
And then you just by chance, oh, let me read. You start throwing out feelers, and somebody's like, oh, I see that you're this far away from me. I'm about to have
and guys who would never think of cheating are just like, but I really want to stick it in somebody's ass. Like, I love the person I'm with. I really want to try this. We have so much access to that stuff. Back in the day, I don't know.
Tell me this bum ass paper towel was in the shop.
Don't you throw our paper towel?
I know it's a hot commodity in this quarantine. I ain't mean to mistreat the paper towel like that. Sorry. It was in the shot. I didn't like it.
But
don't pay attention to her. All you gotta do is this. Validate her. Boom! Validated. But
don't knock it until you tried it. But the thing about it is like
I said, that wine is hitting. I know that. I feel like that's a reason people are seeing things that they want to do, and it's just like, yo, I want to go do this, whereas they wouldn't have seen it before. Wouldn't have seen it, and this is I would say a stereotype for dudes. I'm gonna own this. You can do what you want with my man card. You'll bring it up. We'll bring it up like a sexual venture, jokingly. Like, I want to try this. Like, how do you feel? Nah, you being stupid. When it's like, no, I really want to try this, as opposed to really sitting down and having a discussion. Like, hey, I've seen this. This really like resonates. I really want to open up our sexual palette. Are you willing? Where men just hear that no, and it's just like, oh, she's forever against this. I need somebody that, like, a lot of dudes want that quick yes.
That's true, Danielle.
A lot of dudes want that just, especially if they like, yo, we're in a 6 month relationship, we've been down for a year, we're married. It should just be like, yeah, I'm for it. Yeah,
like it don't work.
Yo,
It does not work.
There's
like that.
comfortability in positions. There's limitations in the body. Like, not everybody's erotic zones are the same. Like,
that brings me to another reason the relationships ain't lasting as long. So back in the day with our grandparents, women couldn't say no. Do you know it was legal for men to rape their wives up until like the 1950s, 60s? Like you could legally rape your wife because it was your wife, so they didn't see it as rape. Like just like
so if you brought it to trial,
like, yeah, you wouldn't get convicted of rape. Just like you could legally divorce your wife for not having sex with you legally. Like just on some, well, she's not doing it was called doing your wifely duty.
What's the vows? The traditional sickness and poor, for ritual poor, sickness and health. So what was the where did that fall in the stipulation?
You had to obey your husband. That used to be a legally binding thing too. Like you were his wife, you were his property basically. But you can legally rape your wife. She could be laying in bed like, no, I don't want to have sex, and he could be like, too bad, because this is what we're doing, whether you want to or not. I feel that in today's relationships, men don't do well with the word no. So they just move on to somebody that's going to say yes. But present company excluded, of course.
No, that's cool.
But men don't do a word with the
I have no problem with being lumped into my sex. And if there is a situation where I am the exception, I will silently accept that. Wow, damn.
Like men don't deal well with it's like I have a right to say what I want and do not want. And it's just like, and it could be well within reason. Like, let's say they're sticking it up my ass, we're sucking it
in. A thunderclap because the lightning just happened.
Yes.
After the lightning comes a thunder.
I'm waiting for it.
They don't want you to say anything profound, and then it gets interrupted with.
Oh, it must be far away. There we go.
There it is.
God. But no, it's just I have a right. Oh, like I was saying. So let's say I'm taking it up my ass. I'm sucking your dick. We having sex every day. But guys get spoiled in the fact that, oh, if you're doing all of this, well, I wanna try this tonight. You know what, sweetie? I don't feel like it.
Right.
And then they just go to IG and they see these plastic bodies.
I'm already going like past the 50.
And
40.
It's just and then just like, wow,
I am carrying the team on my back.
I'm just gonna do it with this girl.
You want me to play the whole 90 minutes?
I said no to you.
You cannot stick it in between my toes. Like, I'm giving you everything.
But I feel like men are spoiled like that. It's almost like, but that, that's also in a way that we raise our sons. We need to be careful with how indulgent and the toxic stuff that we might teach our sons about women's decisions to yes or no, even in a relationship. I feel like men have a good grasp of consent outside of relationships, but once they get with somebody, for some reason consent goes out the window. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you can't say no to me, I'm with you. Like, what? No. Just because we're together don't mean you can do whatever you want.
Can you pick and choose what you decide to be traditional about? Yes. I just read exactly what you just read.
No, I was reading the one up top.
Oh, got you.
I was reading the one up here. I'm like, what? No. I feel like you can. I feel like you have the right to make your own rules in your relationship. Everybody, like when we was watching that Sex in the City today. Yes, we do watch Sex in the City together. It's a favorite pastime of ours. But oh, you didn't want me to tell the world that? No,
I'm just saying. If you're gonna frame it, we gotta frame it right.
Okay, frame. It was a favorite. How else do you frame? We watch Sex in the City together.
That part is fine. Regularly. But a favorite pastime of ours, I hopped on the train. Like, I wasn't just growing up like, yo, I'm such a Samantha. You can't tell me I'm not a Samantha.
Are you uncomfortable with that?
Nah, not at all.
No, but like I feel that you can pick what you want to do in your relationship. Our marriage might not reflect somebody else's marriage.
Yeah.
We're more traditional people. Like I'm very selfish about my dick. I don't want to share it.
I'm trying to change things.
And I will never change.
Never say never. I will never. Especially with one of never.
And that goes perfectly with our theme about why relationships today don't last. My grandmother would be like, a man is just being a man. I'm like, absolutely not. Like,
that's one thing I'm not changing.
If you pick in your relationship that, y'all want to do whatever y'all want to do, that's fine. But
so tying into what you said about men being spoiled about certain things and women having a right to choose how they conduct themselves. One thing I think a lot of dudes need to do more is really appreciate the lengths that, and I'm talking very binary. I'm talking
threesomes
men and
with
women.
rules. Threesomes have to have rules.
Yeah, I'm
Threesomes have to have
talking
rules.
men and women. And this is relationship talk, so you can translate it to women on women, men on men, whatever, what have you. But if your partner grants you something they are not used to, so like you said, you're very stingy with the dick, but you're just like, yo, you want some girl to come in and watch us, like she's simply sitting there in the corner, cool. For me to get that experience, and then after that, I'm just like, so we did that. Why don't we take it to the next level? Like your partner has made it clear this is outside of my comfort zone. I did this for you. Why are you trying to further expand my? If you keep pressing and pressing and pressing, the fuck, your relationship is definitely not going.
You have to come to the table with negotiations on everything. You gotta come with negotiations as far as communication. You gotta come with negotiations as far as what y'all are into sexually. So if y'all need to write up a whole pamphlet on threesome rules, go ahead. If y'all need a lawyer involved, like she can touch the tip of his penis with her tongue for 3 seconds. If you need it in writing, I'll write it down.
But even not
get, y'all need to decide.
Not even getting that too deep into it. I think why a lot of our relationships don't last like our grandparents is because we try and define our relationship in today's social norms. So it's like there's no kink shaming. People explore sexual things all the time. And then when your partner tries to go into that, there's always that other person that takes full advantage of it. Mm-hmm. It's just like, okay, we had this. We did that. What else can we do? Let's do more. Like, yo, let it breathe. It might be months. It might be years till y'all do something as adventurous. But you gotta don't sit there and talk about it every day like, yo, remember when we did that day, baby? That was amazing. Like that, because then it diminishes your regular one-on-one. You know what I mean? I don't want my every night sex diluted. Because my dumb ass is like, yo, remember when that midget stripper was like,
what is it with you and midget strippers? I'm starting to think this is a thing that we need to negotiate because you bring it up a lot. And I'm like,
I've been very clear.
No, you have not been very clear. We're clear about what? Like, is this a thing that we're doing? I need to. That's not clear. You need to let me know.
Very clear about my fantasy. You
go
back to the podcast. What? Go back to my podcast. Go back. I've definitely mentioned
podcast. What about clear in our everyday
conversation? I've definitely mentioned midget strip.
That's a different conversation that we need to have because.
So another reason why our relationships don't last like our grandparents, and I think this is a lifelong beginning of time thing with men. Communication is key. Just like Clara, like being completely
y'all know I can't see
forefront. I'm like, because honesty has so many different definitions but just communication. Like, baby, I don't like this. Why don't you like this? I'm glad you asked. And it's not even just the questions asked, but it's the tone that people take with each other. Again, we live in a very uh not undefined.
Yes, communication and comprehension. Good point.
Comprehension.
People can communicate, but if they're communicating to somebody that is not comprehending what the fuck they're saying, it becomes a completely different. Like I've told you this.
We live in a very nuanced society. So it's like if I ask you to, hey, I want to do a sexual act and I want to tie the dog up in the room and have him like squeal while I'm doing it.
Did you tell me this beforehand?
Did I tell you this before? Is it clear? Like it's like if you judge me for that,
but that's that shit though.
but if you judge me for that, it's like for me to fly off the handle. Why are you coming at me? People do stuff like that all the time. It's not like I'm having to no. Like you gotta understand. Like
this is
just
well,
because
no,
everything around us is nuanced doesn't mean that nuancy automatically translates into our own. You know what I mean? So it's like instead of asking for it and expecting it to come right off the bat, we gotta talk. We gotta have a full out conversation. And it goes back to again, if you say no and you're sticking by that, I gotta respect that. What else do you do for me? Yo, you put your P in my A, and I'm always S in your D, and you know I did the helicopter.
What?
And the wind, because I didn't want to get as explicit as you, because you've been talking. I don't know what's in your mind, like, but you've been.
No, I've just been being very clear.
And this is brown, and it ain't even hit me.
I'm being very clear with my communication.
I don't know why this represents nesting. I just had it in my hand.
How long that light? Anyway, we digress. I am a firm believer in the random surprises in the bedroom. I'm a firm believer that if we're in the bedroom, like, don't pop up with some shit that you didn't tell me about. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, like, I'm all tied up in something, and all of a sudden you pop up with, like, what would be weird? Yeah,
I have a garden snake and I'm putting it on your chest. You tell get it out.
Like that's
no, baby. I know. We talked about this.
No, we did not. That is bad communication because I definitely would have said no to this. Like
get this motherfucking snake off this motherfucking chest.
That's definitely. But again, choices in relationships nowadays.
Yeah.
Women have more where they didn't have any before. Anything else that you feel is ruining relationships?
Like ruin
is a
strong word. I think what makes relationships
yes, don't pop up with, like those. Thank you, Danielle. Don't pop up. Don't tie me up and then pop up with the midget strippers, and we did not discuss this before.
All of a sudden, it's like, ding dong. Like, oh, I got a surprise for you.
Like, I don't like surprises that just show up. I don't. Why is the doorbell ringing? This is what I don't want. And you're already tied up like an idiot, and you're just like, the fuck.
Oh my god! Remember when we was about to like get it in, and our buzzer went off? I know exactly who it was that came upstairs, and it was just like we knew they were coming over. There was no communication about like, oh, I'm here or I'm this far away.
Oh, that's a whole nother different subject. No, I mean, call before you show up.
Like we knew they were coming, but it was just like
I feel like they weren't clear communication about when they were coming, and that's exactly why they had to sit outside.
So we said the courting was different. Too many options. Communication is different. Social expectations. Damn, I think that pretty much covered it.
I got another one.
What's up?
These plastic ass, fake ass bodies that these girls got. No, because it creates an unrealistic representation of what bodies are supposed to look like. Absolutely. So you got these dudes going on IG like, oh, look at her ass, look at her titties. It's just like, but and then they see regular girls walking down the street and they're like, nah, but her ass isn't big enough. Mm-hmm. That's ruined relationships nowadays. Back in the day, everybody was natural. So
Everybody was natural.
You got what you got.
Yeah, even like there's so many different styles today where it's just like, yo, I may have a bomb ass woman that cooks, cleans, gives it up to me, whatever, what have you. But it's like, why aren't you wearing? Why you got on mismatched underwear in the house? Like, where's your matching sexy lingerie that they took for this photo shoot?
Like, first off,
Like, where's your
did you
tight
buy
ass
it for me?
Fashion Nova pants outside? But at the same time, a lot of dudes want to see their girl in that or want to be with a girl in that. But when they get with that girl and it's attracting the attention of other dudes, all of a sudden you get close the door, lock your door, and it's like, why you go out like that? It's really good. How dare you disrespect me? And then you get dudes on the beach that's like,
first, okay, let's not talk about the beach. I stopped. So there was, but you know what? Let's just watch this. There was a situation at the beach.
come see me,
We
homie.
went to the
let
beach.
my size fool you.
We went to the beach.
I ain't just gonna lose in a fight. I fight an ankle.
I was wearing beach attire, and beach attire led to dude trying to holler. Anyway, the situation was squashed. It's over. Let's not relive it. It's fine. It's fine. I feel like in a reverse situation, I would have been much more calm. Actually, no, I wouldn't.
But in our grandparents' time, it was just there was
people had more respect. And also in our grandparents' time for relationships.
Yeah.
They had more respect. Yeah. Yo, and I don't just blame dudes. Women and men in general don't have any respect for relationships these days. They see it as a challenge. It's just like, oh, you got a wedding ring on. Oh, I see you with your girl on the socials, and y'all doing this, and this. Ooh, like I don't want you, and I don't want to be committed, but I'll fuck you once because I don't even know. It's like, can I get him? Can I get her? I just want to see if that happens. Like, do you know how many? Well, let me not say that. But the dudes have definitely been like, oh, I don't care if you're married. Clearly see the wedding ring. I don't even think dudes look for wedding ring.
I actually thought about that too. I wish I was saying that just for the video, just for this episode. But I don't think dudes look for wedding rings. But that's only because, well, for me, I can say like
yes,
I've
true.
always seen my mother and my grandmother wear jewelry. So even when I learned where the ring goes on what hand, I'm just like, oh, women wear jewelry. And it really wasn't until my mid 20s where I'm just like, oh, I would actually look to be like, oh, man, do you have a wedding ring on? Is that an engagement ring? Like, nah,
first off, I'm not worse than Kasim. I can control myself. I have not gotten in a fight in a very, very, very long time. I haven't been in a fight since I've been with you. I don't see. I don't fight bitches nowadays.
I haven't been in a fight since I've been with you.
What about last weekend when you almost approached that man?
I didn't almost approach nobody. I just looked at him. You were pointing out who tried to holler, and I was just like, him. I had shades on and all that. He was the one that.
I feel like
I was like, bro, I'm just laughing at you.
I feel like we have a different recollection of this.
All right, cool.
That's fine. But
I was on the beach with my shirt off, so you think I was on some tough guy shit. I was just like, who? Let me know who. Let me know who.
I mean, but okay. So one of my friends is commenting on the fact that I have a loose mouth when it comes to women and my husband. It's not even that. I give him all authority to shut the shit down. So what are you looking for? Wow, really? I give him all authority to shut the shit down. I don't step in until he has shut the shit down, but she has made it very clear that she doesn't care. And this is what I mean by that. Where were we? We were at Groove. And I was chilling at the bar. There was only one. There was a seat at the bar. I sat at the bar because they were in the front. It was him and some friends. They were in the front. There were no seats up there, so we weren't next to each other. He was wingmaning. Kasim was wingmaning for his friends. Friends met somebody. They're hitting it off. But that female friend had her girl, and her girl I holla at Cassine. I'm watching this whole thing. I see it. And I'm like, all right, cool. He had no parts of it. That's fine. She didn't get the hint. We head outside, and his friends had made a connection with the girl, and he was just like, "Oh, we headed back to my place." And the girl is like kind of trying to stand close to Kasim, and she's looking at him because his friend is like, "Yeah, we headed back to my place." And I can see that she's not trying to get the hint, and I wasn't crazy about it. I wasn't gonna like fight the girl on the street, but I was just like, so me and we're about to head to our house where we live together in our home without you, just in case you don't get the fact that he is clearly with me. Now, if for some reason it had escalated because of that, it is what it is. But my first mind is if he doesn't shut it down, I have a problem with him. Like, I go to him. He is the issue. He's the one that's married, so he's the one that should be telling these bitches. Married? No, we weren't, but it doesn't matter. You were in a committed relationship. You're the one that's telling these bitches we are in a committed relationship. Whatever, and he does. He shuts it down. I have to say
it was very smooth back in the day as well. Like we're sitting there. I seen what homegirl was doing, but again, I'm paying attention to see if my guy seals the deal. And you say, "Oh, we can go back to my place." Da da da. And Shorty got excited, like, "Oh, we all about to go back." And Miss Brown Bunny simply, well, y'all can go back to the house, but we're gonna go.
Hey,
but the look on that girl's face, she was just like, I thought I
no. No, I'm very calm. Unless it gets to a point where I need to say something for real, I'm a very calm person. Like I said, if he, as long as he's doing his job, shutting it down, that's what needs to happen. So that's the hierarchy of things. If he does not shut it down, and it seems like he's flirting back, I have a problem with my husband then, not the girl. But if he's like, get out of my face, leave me alone. I got a wife, and she's just like, oh, but what does that matter? Like, it doesn't matter. I still want to talk to you. That's when I come in. Like, are you hard of hearing? Because I heard him tell you to back up, and if you didn't hear him, I can repeat it much more forcefully in a different way using my hands. There we go. I mean, that makes sense.
So, as there is a monumental event in hip hop going down right now,
Yeah.
we will bid you guys adieu. We appreciate you guys. The red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. What?
He's gonna win.
We appreciate you guys coming through. We appreciate the question again from Ancora Bella. Appreciate you guys participating on the live. Hopefully, my computer acts right, and we will have this up on YouTube. Probably find it on my YouTube page. I will post it on my Facebook and my IG. Once it uploads correctly, I will also post it on Black and Married, which this has been another episode.
Hey.
So once again, I am Click My Bick.
I am Miss Brown Bunny. You can find me on all social medias as that name, except Facebook, which has my kind of government. Kind of government.
And we will holler at y'all soon. I want to share time. I'll use